You have a 25 fish limit at Green Peter, so that's where I primarily go when I'm in town. I fish all over the state, and I fish up in Washington. I'm working on another book on Kokanee lake maps, and in the process I have to hit all these lakes, and it's hell, but I have to do it. Fish finder is probably your most important piece of equipment if you're going to target kokanee. Fish finders come in a variety of styles and sizes. Buy the best dang unit that you can possibly afford. Spend more money on it than you do on your boat. Seriously, it's the most important piece of equipment if you're going to target kokanee. Weimar has been the best deal on kokanee rods that I have found. They come out with a periodic sale. They sell them for less than most dealers can buy them for. So if you're looking for kokanee equipment, it's a great place to go. Probably the best buy on the market is the Okuma Kokanee Special downrigger rods. They're very forgiving. They got enough backbone to land big fish, and I would stack this up against a $200 rod. It's very well made, and you can't beat the price. I think I paid $30 for that rod. Moving on, jigging rods and reels. Typically jigging rods, drop back one thing. I prefer mono on my trolling rods. Mono has a little bit of stretch. It's very forgiving. Kokanee are such radical fighters that you need that cushion. It'll pull up to 20% of its original length, so you get a lot of cushion there when you're landing a fish. Jigging rod is just the opposite. I like to run braid, and I like a spinning reel. The reason that I like braid is because it doesn't stretch. It has like a 4% stretch to it. So when you're fishing at 70 feet or 60 feet and your fish bumps your line, when I jerk that rod, that lure's moving at the bottom of that line. If I've got mono on there, 6-pound mono, by the time I get my rod up here, it's just starting to move down there. So you get instant reaction with the braid. Again, with the braid, I run a variegated color. It changes color every 10 feet. It's red and yellow, so I can guesstimate the depth as I'm going down. I don't have to think about it. Another thing that I like to do, periodically as I'm putting line on my rod, I'll put a bobber stop on there so that I can count the bobber stops, because sometimes I forget what color I was looking at, and you know, I'm getting kind of senile and all, and anyway, I have a hard time keeping up with where I'm at. Once you figure out where those fish are at, grab a hold of the last bobber stop and pull it to your stopping point. So every time you can just throw your line down there, and it's going to drop till it hits that spot, and you know exactly when to throw the bail. Then you can start jigging, and you're right back in the fish. Jigging is the fastest way, as I said earlier, to put fish in the boat. You can literally limit out 25 fish in about 20 minutes. As fast as you can get your line in the water, you're catching the fish. It's a lot of fun. It's great for kids. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. It makes me uptight. I think I was telling this gentleman over here that it's a lot like playing video games for me. After a while, I want to smash the dang thing, and I get kind of frustrated, so I have to take off and go troll it for a while to unwind. This is a Tika bass rod. Probably your best bet are drop shot type rods. You can pick them up for a good drop shot rod for about 30 or 40 bucks, usually at Weimar, just like I said before. This here is about a $200 setup. It was comped to me, so I don't know what the actual retail on it is, but it is a very good rod, and it's a lot of fun to catch fish with. Do you have any questions about rods, reels?
What's the length of your jigging rod?
Well, that's more of personal preference. This is a 6'10".
Okay.
Some guys like the real long rods. Some guys like the real short rods. I think. Pardon me?
Rated?
It's 10 pound.
10 pound.
And it's made by Tough Line. It's called Tough Line XP indicator. Actually, it's 15 pounds. And it changes color every 10 feet. Quite honestly, I like it for long line because I can count my distance when I'm painting it out just by color. Last year I didn't fish with mono at all. I used braid throughout the year. I've fished with braid for years, so it's not a big deal to me. For somebody who's not adept at landing kokanee, probably mono is a good place to start.
So what's your pound test on your trolling?
I'm running 10 pound on the mono. Hoochies. I tie a lot of my own. I also get comped a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to lie to you. Tackle companies send me a lot of stuff, and they want me to write about it. So I end up with tons of this stuff. If something's real hot, I'll tie it myself. I always look for the glow products. Probably the best ones to buy. P-Line has some good products, but my favorites are Yamashita. Okay? And you want to look on the thing, it says double glow. If it doesn't say UV or double glow, don't buy it. Fish attract to light. When I put a glow unit on, you can either make your own light box or buy one. This is a Rapala light box. Has a slot at the top and the bottom. I can snap it onto my rod, just like that, and push the button, and it charges the glow in it. It will blind you. It's got 4 LEDs, top and bottom. Just pretty neat unit. They're not that expensive. I think I paid 12 bucks for it. After somebody told me about it, I had to have it. For bait, I typically run corn is my go-to. My number 2 unit is, I like those grubs put out by Berkeley Gold. And I always have a couple bottles of Potskey's fire corn in my box, because 9 times out of 10 I stagger out of the house with about half a cup of coffee and I'm still asleep, and I get halfway to the lake and I realize I forgot my bait. So I always keep the grubs and the fire corn in the boat, so if I leave the bait in the fridge, I'm not wasting my day.